Okay, so good morning everyone and welcome again dito sa ating live webinar series number 3 entitled BIR Registration, Pay Your Taxes on Time. So dahil meron na tayong individual, di ba? Individual na registration, meron na tayong corporation and partnership registration. For sure, lahat alam nyo na, lalo yung mga nag-attend ng webinar 1 and webinar 2 namin, series 1 and 2 namin. Kung hindi mo na-attend, meron kami dito, stock mo lang tong FB namin, FB page namin, makikita mo dyan yung live webinar. Okay? So, ayun, kung alam na natin, di ba, i-register, syempre, lilipat naman tayo sa paano mo babayaran yung tax mo. Siyempre, ayaw natin ng interest Kaya ka nagbi-business, di ba? Hindi lang para maliit yung kita, hindi lang para banding, kundi para lumaki yan, maging successful, di ba? Ganun tayong mga business mind, di ba? Ganun yung mga business mindset, okay? So, and now, sino kaya yung mga speakers natin, di ba? Mga speakers natin, later, i-introduce ko sila, di ba? Pero, remind ko muna kayo. Okay, before ko sila introduce, remind ko muna kayo ulit sa ating mga question. Okay, kung meron kayong mga tanong, feel free to drop dyan sa natin, comment section sa ating Facebook. So kung saan naka-live, and sasagutin namin yan at the end of the webinar. So meron kaming time for that, di ba? So i-flash namin yan dito sa PowerPoint namin. Okay? So i-introduce ko na ngayon sa yung mga speaker natin. So ang first speaker natin ayan, student intern at MBH Online Accounting and sa MBH Online Accounting and Business Solution. She is also a fourth-year Bachelor of Science in Accountancy at Holy Angel University, Dean's Lister from 2018 to 2020, Zero Advisor Certified, and also she is a member of Junior Philippine Institute of Accountants at Holy Angel University from 2018 up to 2021. None other than Ms. Eliza May Habonero. Okay. So next speaker natin ay student intern din and team secretary dito sa MBH Online Accounting and Business Solution. She is also a fourth-year Bachelor of Science in Accountancy sa Holy Angel din, and also Dean's Lister from 2018 up to 2021. So mga Dean's Lister to mga speaker natin. So expect na natin yan, marami tayong matututunan, di ba? Kasi matatalino. So Zero Advisor Certified din siya, and also a member of Junior Philippine Institute of Accountants at Holy Angel University from 2018 up to 2021, which is Cyril Reyes. So, ating guest speaker. So, ang ating guest speaker ay napaka-special, di ba? Kasi hindi lang siya basta-basta, kundi siya ay CEO and founder of MBH Online Accounting and Business Solution. So, siya yung nag-handle sa amin ngayon. Siya yung dahilan kung bakit merong series number 1, series number 2, series number 3, and upcoming series pa na mag-guide sa'yo and tutulong sa'yo. Okay? So, none other than Ms. Myla B. Hernandez.
So thank you for that enthusiastic introduction, Mr. Romel. So before anything else, I would like to greet you a good morning, and I hope that you are all doing fine and safe in the comfort of your home or wherever you are. So without further ado, let me start the discussion. So we need to understand that BIR registration is one of the most important prerequisites to doing business here in the Philippines. After all, you cannot operate without a tax identification number or a TIN, which you can only get through registration. So this 9-digit number is assigned by the Bureau to every individual and corporate taxpayer in the country, one that they can use to identify and track registrants, as well as to keep records of them in order to ensure tax compliance and to be allowed to start business here in the Philippines. So businesses need to be registered with the BIR because it is something that all entrepreneurs who are planning to set up a company in the Philippines must accomplish. So next slide, please. So there are actually two ways to register your business with the BIR. One is through walk-ins or purely over the counter. So this requires physical appearance, and this means that the registration can be done at any revenue district office or RDO. The second one is through online, wherein filing of application will be done through the new BizRec or the new business registration portal. This is actually more convenient and preferable way to register your business, especially now that there is a pandemic ongoing. Okay, so next slide, please. So let me discuss to you the procedures and filing for a business registration through walk-ins or over-the-counter application. So the first step is to fill out the Form 1901. This is the application of business registration form. So you need to write each detail legibly. So make sure that you are using all capital letters in doing so. Also, you must mark all appropriate boxes with an X mark. And you must also know your TIN or the tax identification number in accomplishing your BIR registration. Next slide, please. So the second step is to submit the application form together with the photocopies of the required documents. So before you register your business with the BIR, you should have taken the prior steps such as the DTI business name registration and the barangay business clearance. And of course, you need to bring any government issued IDs for personal verification. Next slide, please. So the third step is you need to fill out and submit the form 0605 and pay the annual registration fee. So annual registration fee is 500 pesos. This is required for new registration of business. Similarly, you need to file this payment form again on or before January 31 of each year as long as you are doing a business. So business registration in the BIR also requires payment of the documentary stamp tax or what we call the DST. This is 30 pesos. No worries because you won't need to pay much, especially if you are processing your registration for single proprietorship business. Next slide, please. So the fourth step is to register your official receipts and sale invoices. So all businesses that render services or offer products or sales are subject to what we call the internal revenue taxes. Therefore, you must issue receipts or sale invoices, of course authorized by the BIR. Likewise, the use of POS machines for the issuance of receipts must also be authorized by your RDO or the Revenue District Office where your business is located. So every registered business must comply with the BIR rules and regulations, including the posting of the notice for the issuance of sale or the commercial invoice and official receipts at a visible place at the taxpayer's place of business. Next slide. So lastly, you need to register your books of accounts. So books must be registered before the commencement of the business or upon the registration of a new business in the BIR. Okay, book of accounts and other accounting records must be kept properly, and additionally, they must be updated and maintain an up-to-date business transactions because properly recording of your books is crucial for your business. Next slide. Okay, so the second way to register your business is, of course, through online, as I have mentioned a while ago. This is through the New BizRec, or the shortcut for the New Business Registration Portal. So this is an alternative method of submitting an application for business registration to the RDO. Next slide. So before anything else, you must prepare all the required documentary requirements in scanned PDF copy not exceeding 4 megabytes total file size of all attachment per email. And this is applicable for sole proprietors, professionals, mixed income earners, for corporations and partnerships, for cooperatives, associations, and other non-individuals, and of course for the branches. Next slide. So same with the over-the-counter process, you need to fill up the BIR form number 1901. Make sure that you downloaded and fill out the right form, which is the version of January 2018 updated. So for sole proprietors or professionals not regulated by the PRC, you will bring any government-issued ID, and in case of the practice of profession regulated by the PRC, you need to bring your valid PRC ID and government ID showing address or proof of residence or business address. So this is applicable for professionals like accountants and the like, no? Next slide. So the next step is to prepare a BIR printed receipt or invoice. This is available for sale at the New Business registrant counter. So you need to pay the 500 registration fee and 30 pesos loose documentary stamp tax or the DST. You need to note that the taxpayer applicant with existing taxpayer identification number may pay the 500 pesos registration fee and 30 pesos DST. You can do this online through the e-payment channels of the BIR that will be presented later. So taxpayer applicant without existing PIN shall wait for an email instruction on when to pay or may pay the 500 pesos registration fee and the 30 pesos DST at the new business registrant counter at the Revenue District Office upon pick up of your COR or the Certificate of Registration. Next slide. Okay, so there are also additional documents if applicable. If transacting through a representative, you need to present an SPA or the special power of attorney, and you need to present any government-issued ID of the authorized representative. You need to provide a photocopy of this, and you need to make sure that there is a 3 specimen of your signatures. So with the DTI certificate, if you already have a business name, work visa if you are a foreign nationals, franchise documents like the certificate of public convenience, this is applicable for common carrier, trust agreement for trust, that certificate of the deceased for estate under judicial settlement, and certificate of authority if it is barangay micro business enterprises or what do we call the BMBE. It is a registered entity, and a proof of registration or permit to operate if you are located with the economic zone. So I would like to add some information regarding the BIR registration for independent contractors or the self-employed individuals. If you have a professional license, just like I said a while ago, you must secure a PTR or the professional tax receipt. And if not, you must secure an OTR or the occupational tax receipt. Next is to get your TIN. If you are transitioning from being employed to self-employed professional, your TIN is probably registered in the RDO of your previous employer. In this case, you will have to go to that RDO and request a transfer of your TIN to the RDO of your current location. And if you've never been an employee in the Philippines, you don't have a TIN yet, in this case, you need to first apply for a TIN, of course, and this process is commonly took up 3 to 10 business days. And you also need to apply for the book of accounts, and in doing so, you need to fill out 3 copies of the BIR Form 1901, bring your PSA birth certificate, a labor contract, or company certifications, books for stamping, and also the journals and the ledgers. And then pay your registration fee and apply for a certificate of registration. So to further discuss the following procedures, may I present to you Ms. Zairel Reyes. Ms. Zairel.
Thank you, Ms. Eliza. Next, we are going to talk about the required documentary requirements for corporations and partnerships naman. Since kanina na-discuss na ni Ms. Eliza yung para sa sole proprietorship. So ano nga ba yung mga kailangan niya na documents? So first, need mong i-download yung BIR form number 1903 version January 2018 and make sure na mada-download nyo yung right form kasi may mga old versions ng form na to. So download nyo yung BIR form number 1903 version January 2018-updated. So yung pagkakaiba ng form na to dun sa mga old versions is 4 na pages na yung form na to. So ano nga ba yung BIR form number 1903? So this is the tax form that corporate taxpayers, whether taxable sila or non-taxable sila, use to register and secure a TIN. So ano nga ba yung TIN number? So ito, kagaya nga ng sinabi ni Ms. Eliza kanina, ito yung nakikita na 9-digit number sa upper part ng isang receipt kung kumain man kayo sa labas or nag-grocery kayo na nasa ilalim ng pangalan ng merchant. So, kailan nga ba need i-file ng corporation or partnership yung form na to? So for corporations, need nilang i-file yung form na to before yung start ng operations nila. And for partnerships naman or non-profit entities, required nilang i-file ito before or upon filing of any applicable tax returns. Tapos second naman, need din nila ng SEC Certificate of Incorporation. Dito nakasabi kung ano nga ba yung pangalan ng business and if legal nga ba siya or approved ba siya ng commission for operation. And then next. So ito, yung third na kailangan nyo or i-secure nyo na document is yung Articles of Incorporation or Articles of Partnerships. So ano nga ba yung Articles of Incorporation? Articles of Incorporation is mandated by the SEC to regulate the corporate sector and the securities market. So isa tong set ng formal documents na pinafile ng isang corporation together with the government body para ma-legalize or magkaroon sila ng legal document for their operation. And next naman, yung Articles of Partnerships. Parang same lang sila ng Articles of Incorporation, pero ito, specify sila for partnership. So, nakalagay dito kung magkano nga ba yung capital ng isang partnership and kung paano yung ratio nila with regards to profit sharing and losses and liabilities. Next. Ayan. Next, kailangan din ng mga BIR printed receipt or invoice available for sale at the new business registrant and yung final receipt or clear sample of own principal receipt or invoices ng isang company or isang organization. And take note pala dito sa mga sa mga receipts. Medyo nagkaka-problem pala yung iba kapag lalo na yung mga BIR na masyadong strict sa details. So, kung mapapansin nyo, dito sa lower part ng receipt, may makikita kayo dyan na this official receipt or this sales invoice. So, kailangan i-check nyo sila na maayos if complete sila kasi mayroong mga BIR na hindi tumatanggap or di nag-authorize ng ganong receipt if kulang sila. So, next. Next naman is for the payment of 530 in total if applicable for the following. So 500 pesos as annual registration fee, 30 pesos for loose stamps or DST to be affixed on the certificate of registration. So important note about this is that if ever na nagbayad ka ng 500 pesos for registration fee in advance, so kailangan mo mag-present ng proof of payment. And for non-stock or non-profit organization naman not engaged in business, hindi na sila required magbayad nitong 500 pesos. And also pala, important note din about dito is kapag hindi ka nakapag-file or nakakuha ng loose stamp or DST and hindi mo napatatakan ng ganon yung certificate nyo, within 50 or 30 days, pwede siyang masubject to penalties or other charges. For example, sa contract list, in addition dito, if di niyo siya napalagyan ng documentary stamp tax, pwede siyang magkaroon ng specific charges para dito. And another is sa capitalization naman ng yung business nyo or organization nyo. If hindi niyo siya napalagyan din ng documentary stamp tax, pwede siyang masubject sa 1% ng total capitalization nyo. Tapos yun yung babayaran nyo na charges. So next naman, yung additional documents na kailangan para dito. So if transacting through a representative kayo, need nyo mag-present ng board resolution indicating the purpose and the name of the authorized representative or secretary certificate. And kailangan din na meron naka-attach na ID or non-authorized representative. So usually, kailangan talaga to yung mga authorization letter na nakastate kung bakit sila yung yung ginawa ng representative para kumuha or mag-process ng registration nyo. Since yung mga documents na to is legal documents. And then next, kailangan nyo din ng franchise documents. Ano nga ba yung franchise document? So it is also called franchise disclosure document in which it is presented sa mga buyers of franchises. So nandito nakalagay yung mga rules and regulations or yung mga kailangan malaman ng isang franchisee bago sila mag-proceed sa pag-franchise ng isang business. Then next, yung franchise agreement naman. Ito na yung pinaka-formal document or agreement ng isang franchisor at franchisee. So nandito na yung mga agreements nila or yung pinag-usapan nila kung bakit nga ba or paano yung agreement nila sa isang pag-franchise ng business. Next, kailangan din mag-prepare ng Memorandum of Agreement for Joint Venture and Certificate of Authority if Barangay Microbusiness Enterprises Registered Entity naman, and Proof of Registration or Permit to Operate naman kapag sa iba. So, itong mga additional documents lang naman na to, if applicable lang naman sa inyo, hindi naman required na lahat ay i-present nyo. Next. So, next naman, pag-usapan natin yung mga documentary requirements for cooperatives, associations, and other non-individuals. So halos same lang naman sila ng mga requirements. So dito, kailangan mo rin i-download yung updated version ng BIR Form number 1903, which is na-discuss na naman kanina. So hindi ko na siya masyadong i-elaborate. And then next, kailangan mo rin ng BIR printed receipt or invoices na available para sa business. Yun nga, dapat i-double check niyo yung mga receipts nyo if tama ba sila, tama lahat ng names, ng address, ng PIN code, and yung sa baba na this official receipt or this sales invoice, dapat complete lagi yun. Next. So, need din ng payment of 530 if applicable, 500 for registration fee, and 30 para dun sa loose stamp tax. And additional documents if applicable din, kagaya nung kanina, kapag nagta-transact kayo through a representative lang, kailangan ng board resolution indicating yung purpose and the name ng authorized representative, tsaka yung attached na government-issued ID nila. Next. So sa requirements, dito sila nagkakaiba sa additional requirements kasi kapag cooperative ka, need mo mag-present ng Cooperative Development Authority Certificate of Registration. Ito specified siya na for cooperatives na madidiscuss sa mga previous webinars natin. And then, next naman yung Articles of Cooperation. So ano nga ba yung CDA? So dito makikita niyo yung name ng business, tapos kung ano man yung agreement or kung saan man nakalocate yung business. And then kapag naman sa Articles of Cooperation, kailangan din to kasi dito nakalagay kung ano nga ba yung goals or purpose ng mismong cooperative, kung bakit nila binuo yung cooperative na yon. Next. So next, for Homeowners Association, kailangan nila ng Certificate of Registration issued by HLURB or yung Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board, and Articles of Association. So, ano nga ba yung Articles of Association? It is a written letter wherein the agreement between parties are stated. Also, nakalagay din dito yung duration, contribution, wages, and managing partner kung sino man yung managing partner nung business na yon. And then next. Yan. For labor organization or group of union or workers, need din nilang mag-present ng Certificate of Registration issued by the Department of Labor and Employment and Constitution and bylaws of the application. Next. Yan. For branch naman, need nilang mag-file kapag individual ka ng BIR Form number 1901 version January 2018, and kapag non-individual ka naman, need mo i-file yung BIR Form number 1903 version January 2018. Next. Yan. So, need din nilang mag-present ng BIR printed receipt or invoice and yung final and clear sample of own principal receipts and invoices. Next. Yan. So next, kailangan din nilang i-prepare yung payment ng 530 if applicable sa kanila. And then additional documents naman, if applicable, yun kagaya nung sa kanina, if transacting through a representative ka for individual, kagaya nung sa in-explain ni Ms. Alyssa kanina, kailangan ng special power of attorney and yung attachment na government-issued ID ng mismong representative. And kapag non-individual ka naman, need mo ng board resolution indicating yung purpose and name ng authorized representative and yung attachment for government-issued ID nila. Need din ng DTI certificate or SEC registration certificate if with business name na yung isang business and then for branch. And articles of incorporation or partnership if line of business is different from the head office. Next. Yan. Bali, need nyo din mag-present ng franchise documents. Example given is certificate of public convenience for common carrier and for branch only. And franchise agreement for branch only. Memorandum of agreement for joint venture or for branch only. And then certificate of authority if barangay micro-business enterprises ka naman na registered entity. And proof of registration permit to operate the business. Next. Ayan. So sa step 2 na tayo. Yun yung mga kailangan yung i-prepare na documents for step 1. So kapag sa step 2 naman, ito na yung determine your filing and payment responsibilities naman. So before that, kailangan nyo i-download itong tax type questionnaire na provided sa link na given dito. So yung questionnaire na to, need nyo siyang i-fill out and sagutan ng tama or applicable sa kung ano man yung tax type nyo. And then after nyo masagutan yung questionnaire na to, scan nyo yung completed tax type questionnaire na sinagutan nyo and i-attach nyo siya sa email application na isa-send nyo. Next. Ayan, for step 3 naman, dito na yung payment for the registration fee which is 500 pesos tsaka yung 30 pesos. Since online nga yung pag-register nito, ito yung mga trusted nila na banks and or other payment methods. So kasama dyan si Land Bank, si DBP, Union Bank, Pesonet, GCash, and Paymaya. Yan. So after nyo sa payment, ma-prepare yung documents and doon sa pagsagot doon sa tax type questionnaire, magsasubmit na kayo ng application form nyo. So enter your business address or resident address in case na professional kayo with no physical business address. Tapos, ayan yung mga need nyo sagutan like the province or city or municipality, yung mga basic details kung saan nakalocate yung business nyo. And yung full name ng applicant, syempre. Tapos yung email information nyo and kung saan nyo siya isa-send. Tapos, after nyo ma-fill out lahat ng mga required na blanks dyan, click nyo lang yung email your application. Then, proceed na kayo sa next. Next. Ayan. So, you will receive an email acknowledgement of the receipt of your application. Usually, 3 days yung tinatagal ng mga ganitong email. So, if after 3 days, di pa kayo nakaka-receive ng email confirmation, need nyo na siyang i-follow up para ma-follow up yung application nyo. And then, last step is receive an email. So, makaka-receive kayo ng email regarding sa scheduled pickup ng certificate of registration nyo, as well as yung BIR printed receipts or invoices or authority to print if meron man, kung kukuha kayo ng receipt doon. Next. Yan. So mag-proceed na tayo sa mga questions. Yung mga questions na to, ito yung usually na tinatanong nila and nag-gather namin beforehand. So first question. Yan. What kind of BIR form to be used to register your books of accounts? So yung sagot dito is yung BIR form number 1905. Yun yung kailangan yung gamitin kapag i-register nyo yung book of accounts nyo. Then next question. And to be answered by Ms. Alyssa Habonero.
So as for the second question, what is the BIR form 19064? So to simply answer this is an application form for authority to present receipts and invoices.
So, yung mga questions na yan, di na sila included. So, mag-proceed na tayo sa next slide. Ayan. So, question and answer with Ms. Myla.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning po, ma'am.
Good morning. Ayan. So, congratulations sa ating webinar series for today, registration sa BIR. Hopefully, yung ating mga viewers and attendees sa live webinar natin is marami silang natutunan, yung mga takeaways natin, yung mga pagka sunod-sunod ng mga documents, steps, di ba? So, sana nakatulong sa kanila yon. So, usaping BIR, okay, actually, sigurado maraming tanong yung ating mga viewers. So,
Yes.
sa pagkakapresent naman ng ating mga speaker, si Eliza and si Cyril, very well said naman, and then linawin na lang natin later through the questions ng ating mga viewers. So, nasaan ang ating moderator? Okay, sige. While waiting tayo sa mga questions na mag-pop up, pinipili lang ng ating moderator yung mga questions sa ating mga chat, sa group, sa mga chat, okay? So while waiting, sige linawin lang natin about dito sa pag-register natin sa individual or sole proprietors and professionals. So yung sa presenting natin, ulitin ko lang, na yung before, so need mo ba ng BIR Form 0605, okay? BIR Form 0605 para sa payment. So ngayon, updated na ang version, yung form, so hindi mo na kailangang mag-fill up ng additional BIR Form 0605 at saka yung BIR Form 1906, okay? 1906 para sa ating application para sa invoices, okay? So, yung updated version natin, which is the BIR Form 1901 for sole proprietors, individuals, professionals, you need just to fill up 3 copies doon. And make sure lang kapag ikaw ay renting, okay, need mong dalhin ang contract of lease. Okay, if ever na hindi pa paid ang documentary stamp tax nito, you need to pay. So, sisingilin ka ni BIR for the DST para dun sa contract of lease. And if ever na you are transacting as a representative, ang kailangan mong additional requirements is that yung SPA or Special Power of Attorney should be notarized, and then a photocopy ng your ID, valid identification card ng representative at saka ng owner, okay, ng owner, na kailangan meron 3 fresh signatures, okay, ng owner at saka ikaw ng representative para ma-verify siya ng BIR na it is correct at ano siya, yung legality ng documents mo. Ayan. Okay, meron na tayong questions. Okay, basahin ko na siya. Is it true that even if I am not yet making profit, I need to file taxes? If you are registered, okay, if you are already registered, okay, whether meron na tayong transactions or not, we need to file our taxes. Kaya lang, syempre dahil wala pa tayong transactions, wala pa tayong babayaran, wala tayong tax due. Okay? Pero we already need to file your taxes. Makikita natin yan doon sa BIR Form 2303 na binigay sa atin upon registering dito sa BIR. Doon nakalagay kung ano ang mga mandatory taxes na kailangan nating i-file. Which is quarterly, if quarterly, kung ikaw ay non-VAT, okay, non-VAT, you need to file for the quarterly percentage tax returns and income tax returns, and yung yearly ng renewal natin, which is the BIR Form 0605. While the percentage tax ang gagamitin natin is the BIR Form 2551Q. While doon sa income tax returns for the quarterly, 1701Q. Okay, like I said before, kanina kung ikaw ay renting, so Nakalagay din doon sa yung Certificate of Registration, yung COR natin, BIR Form 2303, na you also need to file for the expanded withholding taxes for the rent because you are renting. If meron kang empleyado, you also need to file and pay for the corresponding withholding tax for the compensation. Okay.
Ma'am, add ko lang po about doon.
Sure.
Meron po kasing mga iba na nagtataka or sinasabi nila, paano kapag freelancer ka lang or online business yung ginagawa mo? So, akala nila kasi po na hindi na sila required mag-pay ng taxes nila. Pero hindi tama yon. Required pa rin silang mag-pay ng taxes nila, specifically kapag yung online business nila is mabenta or mabili, lalo na kapag nag-exceed na sila dun sa bracket na 250,000. So need pa rin nilang i-register yung business nila kahit na online lang sila or freelancer lang sila. Kasi yung mga income nila na nag-exceed dun sa bracket na 250,000 is subject to tax na. So, yung mga freelancer dyan or online business holders dyan, huwag kayong matakot na mag-register sa BIR. Akala nyo yung napakalaki yung kailangan yung bayaran na taxes, pero required to para makapag-operate kayo legally and para hindi nyo na problemahin yung iba pang delays or iba pang problema kapag nakita kayo or na-spatan kayo ng BIR, ganun.
Yes, that's correct. In addition to that, okay, nabanggit niya ang mga freelancers, online businesses, di ba? So, yung mga self-employed natin. Basta tayo ay Pilipino, 18 years old and above, earning income, okay? Inside the Philippines, within the Philippines, and outside the Philippines, okay? Kasi online job, di ba? Outside the Philippines. So, international yung galing yung kanilang income. So, basta ikaw ay resident Filipino, 18 years old and above, residing and citizen of the Philippines, kahit na ang source ng income mo ay puro outside the Philippines and within the Philippines, so you need to file your taxes. So mandatory po siya as a law. So katulad nung nabigay natin na sample, like for example, ikaw ay employee, job order, contractings, and then first ka pa lang na mag-register kay BIR, possible na nakamap ka na sa kanila. If other persons is nag-report sila na na meron silang expenses coming from you. Okay? Ibig sabihin nun, may income ka na undeclared and dineclare ka ng ibang company po na kapag tayo ay nagpa-register na as self-employed, freelance and all, possible po na makita yon sa system and you need to file all those unfiled taxes before registering your own company or your own business. Yan po.
Add ko lang din po, ma'am. Kasi we need to be realistic regarding that because not all businesses or individuals are profiting that much because some of them are existing for a mere subsistence. But once na nag-file ka po ng tax sa BIR, you are already required. But it will be depend on your annual income bracket pa rin po.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yes po.
Kasi meron namang ceiling na non-taxable, which is the 250,000 and below. Exempt pa siya sa tax.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Next question.
For our next question po, is the business permit different from annual income tax due to the BIR? And if yes, is it deductible from my annual income tax? So, yung answer po dito is yes. The business permit is a local business tax imposed by the local government, unlike yung sa BIR po, which is national po siya. So, required pa rin po siya and magkaiba po sila yung business permit from BIR. So, need pa rin po siyang i Miss Eliza, please continue.
Okay, so the business permit and annual income tax due are totally different because business permit is in the local perspective while the annual income tax due is national. It is for the BIR. And if yes, is it deductible from my annual income tax? So the answer for that is simply no. It is not deductible directly from your annual income tax due, but it is considered as allowable deduction.
Correct. Tama po siya. Okay, makikita mo yan po, medyo ano lang, medyo yung terms is that part po siya ng expenses nung company. The business expense, okay? Expenses ng company. And then para mag-derive, doon tayo sa computation nung ating income tax due. Okay? Kaya mas maganda na may declare nyo po yun na expense para makabawas po yun, a part of that, makabawas po sa pag-compute ng ating income tax due. Kasi liliit yung income natin. Ayan. Next.
As for the next question, am I required to issue official receipts, ORs, even if my customers do not ask for it? So the answer for that is yes, because official receipts are considered as a business transaction evidence, and failure to comply with that or refusal to comply with that is punishable by the law because under the section 237 of tax code, all businesses with the transfer of goods or services must issue an official receipt.
And in addition lang po sa sinabi ni Ms. Eliza, required po talaga yung mga official receipts lalo na sa mga business since ito po yung nagiging record or track ng mga business owners sa kung ano man yung nabebenta nila or binibili nila. And importante na mag-keep ng official receipts din yung isang business para sa recording ng book of accounts nila. Kasi meron kayong minsan pwede nyo ma-encounter na yung accountant nyo or yung bookkeeper nyo is may hihirapan siya sa pag-record ng mga transactions if hindi present yung mga OR na mga to, yung mga official receipts nila. So, kailangan lagi every month compile lahat ng mga official receipts ng isang business for further recording of transactions.
Okay. So, to clarify, whether maghingi si customer or not ng OR, you should issue. Okay, next question.
So, for the next question, how much is the penalty for the late BIR registration? So, yung penalty for the late BIR registration is, according to the Bureau of Internal Revenue, subject sila for 25% surcharge plus 20% interest per annum and a penalty compromise fee of 1,000 kapag hindi sila nakapag-register agad sa BIR.
Correct.
For the next question, during my first year, do I already need to hire a full-time accountant to handle my BIR compliance? How about an external auditor? So, actually, it depends. If nag-start ka pa lang and konti pa lang yung business transactions mo and you know that you can handle the bookkeeping yourself, you don't need to hire a full-time accountant. But because iniisip natin, nalalaki pa yung business natin. So it is advisable to hire an accountant because mahihirapan tayong i-record ng tayo lang mismo yung mga business transactions, lalo na yung mga maliliit na business transactions. And yun nga, kapag lumaki na yung business natin, it is advisable to hire a full-time accountant.
Okay.
So, for the next question, will I use the same tax identification number or TIN if I decide to open another business, not a branch? So, the answer for this is no. You only have to get one TIN in your business or in your lifetime, except if you need to intend to incorporate a business. So, meron kasing yung iba na nagtataka if required ba silang kumuha ng panibagong TIN kapag mag-open sila ng separate business. Kasi di ba tayo, nag-register tayo sa BIR para makakuha din ng personal TIN natin. So if sole proprietor ka lang naman, pwede mong gamitin yung existing na TIN mo para sa business mo, parang same lang sila. So applicable yon. And need mong i-avoid yung pagdo-double or pag-register ng double TIN kasi merong part sa law na hindi to applicable or subject siya for imprisonment for 4 years and meron siyang na penalty na need mong bayaran. So, kailangan kapag sole proprietor ka lang or pwede mo naman gamitin yung personal TIN mo sa business mo, yun na lang yung gagamitin mo.
Okay, i-elaborate ko lang. If ikaw ay mag-open ng business which is ikaw lang din ang solely owner, isa ka lang na owner as in sole proprietor, okay? So, well, hindi mo na kailangan ng another TIN for this. That's why yung ating, di ba meron tayong 9-digit na number sa TIN number sa BIR and then yung dulo niya yung 000. If ever you're going to open another line or activity ng business, ang mangyayari lang is magkakaroon na ng 01, 02, 03. Ganon yung TIN number natin. Ibig sabihin nun, you have, meron ka pang branches na tinatawag. Okay? Pero kapag ang i-open mo naman is other form of business like the partnership and corporation, meron kasi sila or associations or cooperatives. So meron kasi silang sariling identity, at meron siyang other owners, may mga partners ka, may group of people, so other na siya. So doon ka pa lang, yung business mo, doon pa lang i-issuehan ng another TIN if hindi ikaw ang solely owner. Or ito, ayun, ganun. Okay.
So, may questions pa ba? So, wala na tayong questions. So far, yun lang yung mga questions from viewers natin.
Okay. So, if ever na ang viewers natin hindi natin nasagot, kasi sigurado ako dito, napakadaming talagang questions. Natatagtad ako ng questions nito eh. If ever na I go live, and then I also experience na kung ako ay nag-present ng 30 minutes, so mga 1.5 hour ang questions and answer. If ever na hindi natin nasagot ang kanilang katanungan, they can email me. Ipa-flash mamaya dyan yung ating email address and the phone number. They can consult with us sa MBH Online Accounting and Business Solutions if meron pa silang further questions and clarifications. Okay, Eliza and Cyril, let's invite them sa mga susunod na webinars.
Yes. So, magkakaroon po kami ng another webinar sa next Saturday, same time, 10 a.m. So, ang topic po ng next webinar natin is registration naman. So, since tapos na tayo sa DTI, sa SEC, sa BIR, next naman is kung paano nga ba mag-register sa barangay. So, ito yung topic natin, barangay registration, legalizing your business matters, to be presented by Mr. Jerickson Mangandi, Mr. Romel De Jesus, and as our guest speaker, Ms. Myla B. Hernandez. So, Mr. Romel.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Romel. Thank you so much, Cyril and Eliza. Hope ating mga viewers ay marami silang natutunan sa araw na ito. Ready na sila na magpa-register ng kanilang businesses sa BIR.
Yeah, so thank you po sa ating mga speakers and sa ating guest speaker. Ayun po, ayun, maraming salamat po sa mga nagbigay ng time na manood and sa mag-support, ng mga nag-like, nag-comment, ng mga nagtanong. So yun nga po, sabi nga po ulit ni Ma'am Myla, about po sa mga tanong niya, di ba po, meron naman po tayong Google Form, which is yun, i-sign nyo na lang po sa Google Form and mag-i-email back po kami or mismo i-chat niyo po yung mismong page po namin and mag-ano naman po kami, magre-reply po kami and magre-response po as soon as possible. So see you po sa ating next live webinar, which is yung barangay na na-introduce na rin ng ating speaker, which is si Cyril Reyes. And yun lamang po and maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. And yun, napakadugo nga po ng ating topic, pero I hope na makatulong sa inyo to, hindi lang ngayon kundi pati sa sa totoong buhay na ma-apply niyo siya. So yun lang and maraming salamat po. Thank you. Thank you po sa ating mga speaker and special guest. Thank you po.